Now, she has been championing the cause of cooperative, women cooperative movement in the country, representing as a president of the Working Women Forum, Indian Cooperative Network for the Women. Now I request her to kindly deliver the keynote address on the occasion. Dr. Nandini Azad.
Mr. Mishra, thank you very much for this very interesting discussion where you have had a pan India, galaxy of speakers from different sectors, and under the leadership of the cooperative secretary, the dynamic cooperative secretary, Shri D.K. Singh. I would also like to take this opportunity very quickly to welcome our new chairperson, the Union Minister for Cooperative, Shri Amit Shahji's effort to spread the packs, the primary societies at the grassroots level and with budget allocation. The vision of setting up the cooperative ministry, we all may have envisioned, but it was really, we can take credit for it, but it was the vision of the Honorable Prime Minister and the execution, including for digitalization, that is very essential, has been initiated by the Honorable Cooperative Minister's vision. Our own Secretary, Shri D.K. Singh ji, who will inaugurate this important event, a webinar on women's role in grassroots level cooperatives, has initiated the process strongly. I thank you, Mr. Mishra, for carrying forward this process as a national institution of important contribution in the cooperative sector. In my keynote address, I would like to highlight my several decade gender and governance issues in cooperatives, but in points. As an overarching statement, women remain tokens in cooperative governance in mainstream and mixed cooperatives. In the Asia Pacific study that I undertook, gender is more than a statistic. My study of 18 Asian countries showed that only 10% women are in boards over the last 20 years. They only moved up 3% from 2000 to 2050. I would kindly request the Registrar of Cooperatives, Ministry of Cooperatives, to kindly ensure that the national multi-state cooperatives fulfill the Supreme Court mandate of women's quotas on the governing boards as per Supreme Court mandate. This would set a great example for primary packs that the Union Cooperative Minister and his vision of multiplying in each village for 2024. As we say in terms of governance in cooperatives, charity begins at home. So therefore, he should kindly pay attention to this very important issue. What are the global commitments for women, which has been reaffirmed by national and international covenants? You have the UN Sustainable Development Goals, 2015, gender equality number 5. Gender equality is fundamental for global growth and poverty reduction. 2, CEDAW, the UN Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. International Labour Organization recommendation number 193, 7.3 in brackets, increasing women's participation at all levels in cooperatives. Having said that, there are several ways to enhance women's role in this. By fulfilling quotas for women, by nomination and by election. Implementing policies that foresee quotas or targets for women's participation in cooperative boards and government incentives for women producers can increase their membership in producer organizations, including FPOs. Implement gender-sensitive laws with positive ramifications for women's status, promoting and facilitating collective action. For example, when we were denied to form a multi-state cooperative 25 years ago, we took out a demonstration to the governor and we could give our case that apart from Tamil Nadu, we would like to be a multi-state, and it happened. So there are many, many ways of governance. Also, like NCCT does, we also do leadership training and capacity building to grassroots women leaders in the Working Women's Forum and Indian Cooperative Network for Women that I'm honored to lead, with 600,000 women workers in 4 states of South India, in Tamil Nadu with 14 branches and members in more than 267 states. What are the significant milestones in the Asia Pacific for women in governance? One is the Asia Pacific Cooperative Ministers Conference, which passed the historic resolution and adoption of 33% reservation for women at all levels of cooperatives, of which I was in the front level, and succeeded in Hanoi 2017. I also put before them my study of 18 countries, gender is more than a statistic on gender desegregated data that they assessed. And this was one of the reasons that led to the 33% reservation at all levels in the region. I also find that while women's representation in cooperatives at the higher levels, echelons, was not significant at the decision-making levels, the new trend, the decisions, the issues indicate new threshold of change for women. So just by looking at the board also, you can't decide that women are not in the cooperative movement. Women are significant in the cooperative movement. But in the mainstream data, you will hardly find 22% out of the 100%. The ratio of women chairpersons in Asia increased from 7% in 2005 to 10 in 2016. Ratio of women vice chairpersons increased from 18% in 2005 to 23% in 2017. What are the recommendations? Amongst others, for gender integration and cooperative governance, the following: the formation of gender equality committees, gender focal points, increasing membership of women, gender disaggregated data studies, tracking equality indicators, such as women's participation in governance, management, and membership. The study that I happened to do mirrored the challenges and limitations of the region's women citizens, tempered by the patriarchal tendencies. Yet it highlighted that strong women social people's movements and engendered by far-reaching government policies, we have now a new Ministry of Cooperatives and laws, can spur women's participation in cooperatives. I'd like to spend a few minutes telling you about our own work. The Indian Cooperative Network for Women, promoted by the Working Women's Forum India. Our women can petition honorable ministers and prime ministers or take out demonstrations for cooperative issues and cooperative call on a legitimate basis. So therefore, this is part of the governance issue. The governance is not only asking men on male boards to kindly put us and nominate us. No, it's also to show the power of the mass demonstrations, to show it to them that we are viable to be in positions of power. Our strategy in governance, the WWF and the ICNW, has been, first of all, engage poor women in productive activities for overall empowerment. We have been the first women's cooperative in India, in South India, for, by, and of for poor women, initiated 1981. All women CEOs, all women board, all women members and staff. We facilitate access to credit, new skills, and employment. We have disbursed credit loans to nearly 600,000 workers with a 90% recovery in approximately 6,000 slums and villages. We also work in nearly 25 to 40 districts of South India. And we have 14 branches in Telangana, in Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, and in Karnataka. Our members are not very small and medium size. They are very tiny. Vendors, hawkers, fisherwomen, landless women, etc. 276 occupations. It's an innovative bottom-up structure. And you can have a fisherwoman on the board. You can have a woman who's selling vegetables as a treasurer or as a vice president. We form credit groups. That is our structure. They have their leaders. They go up to the regional level. And this is how we find the solutions. Groups and cadre are the solid foundations of governance. What have been the key benefits of our computerization? Because I know the Honorable Minister has been very keen on computerization and digitalization. They've even earmarked a budget for it. This is also part of transparent and good governance. Daughters of poor fisherwomen and laborers are now software people. We are the home, Silicon Valley of India, in South India. So these poor women are now running a software problem. This dramatically reduced our processing time, more efficient field management, banking operations made easy. We are therefore a role model for integration of gender in cooperatives, because you have the mixed cooperatives, you have the women-only cooperatives like us. So as I said before, grassroots women occupy important governance positions. So they can give us the feedback, they can take the feedback. As we are also providing them an opportunity to address their challenges at home. That is also governance, the governance of the household, the governance of the community. All these are also governance issues. Now, high level of financial output, benefits to members are leadership, economic, business, and personal. ICNW vision demonstrates that even the poorest and the semi-literate women can govern their institutions with the right kind of orientation, etc. One poor woman identifying 10 other poor women in the area, as our union minister has envisioned in the pacts, that by 2024 we will have many paxes nearly in every village. This has infused confidence among members and our model. raise their standard, upholding human dignity and redistribution. Now, I wanted to tell you some of the things that, I would like to recommend, because, we cannot take the time of NCCT, and as a board member, I wouldn't like very much to do that. And, as the union budget has shown, we have this very good cooperative ministry, which is there to help us in, getting good governance. Finally, as I say, finally. So therefore, while we, what are the lessons that we have learned? We'd like to reaffirm the commitment to women who, in spite of national and international commitments, continue to face discrimination, oppression, and human rights violations. And therefore, we want to make sure that their access to women in leadership in cooperatives, education, and health services training will be thrown open by organizations like the NCCT. What are the lessons that we have learned from the Working Women's Forum ICNW experience? That the poor women have spirit and courage. They can form their packs at the village level. They can train 10,000 women or 1 lakh women as envisioned by the Honorable Minister. Therefore, this is possible to do it with the help of institutions like NCCT, taking up the support of people who have a mass base, who have venues and training, who not only speak in seminars, but who can take up the challenge given by the Honorable Minister and the Honorable Ministry or NCCT and help them on the ground. Also, poverty is not a barrier for poor women to become leading agents of change. Use their capacity and give them the opportunity. The solid grassroots character of the Working Women's Forum and ICNW has demonstrated that with the right type of training and following the principles of cooperative management, right type of orientation and field exposure, this can be done. Now, finally, I feel that cooperatives lay the foundation of a future where economic democracy supplements political democracy. Again, this is the vision, I know, of the people who have created the ministry and the people who are heading the ministry. We need to look at the strategies in the cooperative sector finally. What echelons in each one of your organizations are women sitting in, and how many? What is the benefits of offtake of loans for whom, men or women? Percentage expanded and reinvested. Now, gender issues, especially equitable representation of women clients in policy decision making in cooperatives, financial institutions, need to be addressed at the policy level. You look at an organization like NABARD. Let us look at all these institutions. How many women are represented at the echelons? Data studies are required on looking at the leadership patterns currently, patriarchy. Are there male structures that are hindering them? Laws that are hindering women's leadership? First, so many of the things is lack of all-round emphasis on women's participation is there. We are only saying it on the lip. Implementation, how are you doing it? Please show us that you're preparing the cadre. But how is the cadre trying to increase the cooperative leaders at the grassroots? How many packs have you been able to envisage and bring? Now, lack of provisions in the cooperative bylaws. Women often are unable to utilize cooperative structures. This is again for the department to look at, and for think tanks such as and training institutions like NCCT. Also, women's problem is domestic responsibility and lack of specific productive resources, technical and educational skills, and that's where NCCT can come in. What is being shown is that though they are not on the echelons, they are there in the mass base. Women are there. They are there at levels. You just need to bring them up, and by giving them opportunities to move up. Now, what are the salient strategies for gender equality in cooperatives? Governance. Sensitize male leaders of cooperatives. Organizing, mobilizing, and strengthening women and their organizations so that they bring a pressure up. Also, increase participation of women's membership in mixed cooperatives. Today in Asia Pacific, it's only 22%. That is what the numbers showed us about 5 years ago. Capacity building and training is also very important to do. In terms of NCCT, I have a few concluding remarks to make. That the NCCT did a fantastic webinar on a roadmap for establishing gender focal point center in training institutions of the National Council for Cooperative Training. I would say that one of the best things they ever did, and this webinar came out with the gender focal points. Because I tell you the difference between gender committees, women's empowerment committees, and gender focal points for governance. These are institutionalized. There are staff being appointed for that. And these are going to be watchdog of gender. On the other hand, the gender committees or the women's empowerment committees meet once a year. What exactly is the power and authority of those committees, which the gender focal points have in every institution of the NCCT, 17 of the institutions. So I had an opportunity to chair the meeting as the only woman board member. And I think they are moving in the absolutely the right direction, that they have said the directors of the training institutions would go gender training much ahead of their time. They are having the vision. Then module for different gender training programs. 30% of all participation in training programs will be up for women, maybe made mandatory as per the unit. The gender focal points have already been established. Their staffing is being now discussed. And also the gender disaggregated data. They are going to be taking this is very important for governance. How many people are there? Gender equality tracking. Are we doing that? Where exactly are who? Therefore, there is a need to increase the women's leadership development program, not only 10,000 women cadre. You can train 100,000. Bring in organizations like us, who we will be able to give you. We will be able to give you the venue. We will be able to give you the offices. We will be able to give you the client. I'll train 10,000 for you in 4 states of South India, in the aspiration and other districts. So therefore, the NCCT is on a very good wicket. And I congratulate the Honorable Secretary again for giving us the right direction and giving us the confidence that the Cooperative Ministry stands by us in transparency and accountability. Thank you very much, Mr. Mishra, for this very interesting debate and discussion. And I think some fruitful things will come out of this.